which gives a protection from sun and which opens the entire facade with a larger openings, making the inside and outside come together. Charles Correa used the same in a very different manner. He used a pergola covered roof as a residence for Ahmedabad. Again, both the examples are from Ahmedabad. This is a more recent example of a fenestration where a wooden cladded door windows which has been covered by RCC structure, which also brings a light on the facade. So what's the role of fenestration? Fenestration connects and separates different spaces visually and physically. It allows natural light to the interior space. It allows natural ventilation. It acts as a skin to the building envelope. And at the most important, it provides a face to the building. Now the functional properties when we look about any fenestration, it is a solar control, a thermal insulation, a sound insulation, protection against wind, water and dust, a security, and in some cases a privacy also can be incorporated within the fenestration. The typology of fenestration, it can be doors, windows and skylight. In doors you have hinged, pivoted, sliding, staggered, French. In windows you have casement, top hung, bottom hung, tilt and turn, picture, louvered window, bay, clerestory. In skylight you have fixed, sloping, venting, and so on and so forth. So contextual expression with fenestration. I'm going to show you two projects of mine. Both are very different in their context, and the way fenestration is used in both the projects also differ a lot based on their contextual condition. So the first project, which is Agrawal Residence that I'm going to start, is a large plot around 2,600 square yard in which we have designed a residence. This is a part of a plotted development. It's away from the city. It has no privacy issues. All the residences are of 2-story high. And so here the privacy was not an issue, but it was more of coming closer to nature. So this is what we designed. We designed a residence which faces the east towards the garden, with all the area opening towards the lawn. There is an entrance pathway which leads to the main foyer. It comes closer, where when you come closer you see different areas. There is an entrance pathway from where you can have a more of a panoramic view of the garden as well as the drawing room. The water body actually divides two spaces from the entrance vestibule to the drawing room. And you enter from the main door, which is around 24 feet tall and 6 feet wide. And it weighs almost 1 ton. So once you come in, you have a skylight which actually guides you throughout the spaces. This skylight actually is giving the natural light in the residence throughout the day. When you come closer, there is a staircase which gets lit by the north light. This is the skylight which brings the light. It is covered with glass which is 30% opaque, 70% open. The reason for keeping 30% so that we can control the solar heat gain, but at the same time in the evening. Okay, so the reason we did 30% opaque and 70% transparent, so that in the night we should be able to see the moon and stars, which client enjoy actually. So that's how the drawing room looks like. It's a double height space which connects with the veranda with a large lift and slide doors. And here we have used fenestration as a connecting tool to connect or merge two different spaces together. So when we open these two large doors, the veranda and the drawing room is always combined together. Again, we have used the same manner. We have used pocket door system, where we are combining the dining with the veranda and also with the inside space. So all the doors which goes into the wall and everything is very open. Same concept we have used up on the first floor level in a lounge. And if you see towards the outer terrace, there is a door which is around 4 meter by 3 meter. This entire door is on lift and slide system, which slides out and connects the outer terrace to the lounge. We have used here opaque channel glass, which brings a light from the central spine into the bedroom throughout the day, so that you don't use the natural artificial lights. The west and the south faces of this residence is more or less cladded with the stone, with a smaller windows which are kind of a tilt and turn windows, which you can keep it open throughout the day for a natural ventilation. The skylight, basically which leads a stair to the terrace, also is naturally lit. The second project that I am going to show you here is a kind of a renovation project. It's a very, the site is right in the middle of a city on a very busy street with a heavy bus traffic. And the biggest concern of a client was that there is a tremendous dust coming from these buses whenever they passes. And also the privacy, because residence is too close to the street. So the first brief that client gave me was that no curtains, no fabric, no curtains. And we have to devise a solution where we have to we have to use the glasses in a manner so that glass module itself can give a privacy. So this is what we designed. What we have done is we have used, of course, security glasses, but with a DGU in which the cavity is being used for the blinds. If you see here, I mean the pictures were taken a little bit later, so that they have started demolishing few of the parts. So this is what it looks like. So this is a drawing room with the louvers, with a light, and of course there was a basement. So we also wanted to ventilate the basement. So we have used this customized shaft which ventilates the basement, and it's also part of the design now. This is the kind of windows they had earlier, and from there we have come there to tilt and turn solutions, louvers, you have a fixed glass, and you have a view glasses. Okay, there was a requirement for an elevator also. So we have added an elevator, again through the glass, so that through these glasses the light comes into the staircase which is behind the elevator. This was a dining area earlier, and this is what we have designed. There are these three different elements in this image. You can see that there are louvers at the sides, which are motorized louvers. There is a fixed glass which on the top, which is channel glass, which brings a natural light. And there is a window at the bottom, which gives you the view. So these three functions we have separated, and each element is giving a separate function. This was a drawing room, which we have made it a double height, and this is what it looks like now. These are more panoramic views. This is what it is, and this is what we have done. This was a kitchen, and this is what it is now. A children room, where we have used a corner window which is louvers so that ventilation can be there throughout the day. and there is a window behind the bed with a blinder which is embedded within the glass. This is a typical bedroom with a tilt and turn window. So the standard window which they had in the entire residence is now changed with this. There is a louvers at the bottom which actually brings a ventilation at the bed level, and the window which is on the top, that is where we have embedded the Venetian blind, which you can lift it. These are motorized Venetian blinds within the tilt and turn window, which you can tilt it, open it. It opens inside because all the Euro system opens inside, where you can clean the glasses very easily. And because it's a tilt and turn window, and also it's a motorized Venetian blind, we cannot give a constant power supply to this. So what we have done is we have chosen a system which has a solar panel for each window. So this is what solar panel looks like, which we have fixed on top of the window, which powers the battery module, which is at the back of the window, which also works to raise the Venetian blind, open it, lower it. This is a typical bedroom which is on the second floor, which is almost 1,000 square feet bedroom. It is covered with glass on 3 sides, and also there is a balcony, 5 feet balcony on the outside to give the shade. All the Venetian blind that you see within the glasses are motorized. You can open the entire thing. The louvers actually gives you the ventilation. So, end of my presentation, I would like to quote something from Charles Correa. He said, when an architect builds a glass tower in the middle of the Arabian desert, he justifies his design with 100 different reasons, except possibly the real one, which is that he is trying to recreate for his clients the mythic imagery of what to them is the quintessential city of the 20th century. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, how many projects are you doing with the solar integrated photovoltaic panels? 2. And how many windows in all the projects? A lot? Okay. So, they're not imported, I hope. They are. So, that means that people will have to gear up and start to do it here as well soon enough. But then just opens up the horizon for our manufacturers here. Yeah, Make in India. So, a round of applause for Mr. Samarth, please. Make in India, I think Gujarat is a live example of how the whole thing starts about. Okay. Sorry, my lipstick has just come out. I have to put some, excuse me. Is it okay now? Shining? Actually, that's a pen drive. It's cute, isn't it? Okay, I'd like to now call upon the next presenter. Dashing, smart, consultant. I don't know how he should be in movies, but he's got into consulting. Nevertheless, welcome Mr. Suresh, Regional Director, Axis for that. Please, Suresh, a round of applause, please. Give him some energy, yaar. Come on. Thank you. Sir.
Thank you. No, I think, both the presenters have spoken about everything about Windows. And I'm not going to speak about Windows. I'm just going to speak about basics of, what is required in the Ahmedabad market. Currently, I feel there's a lot of, I've been meeting clients, I've been understanding what is happening here. You want to call him? No, it's fine. I'm too loud. So, I feel it's more about, what is required in the Indian market in terms of all these good windows and good systems and good concepts which are already available in the Ahmedabad market. Like there are good architects who can design good things, but ultimately it's about, a developer or a client thinking about developing the concept in the way it should be, and then taking care of all the maintenance issues which is going to come after 10 years. And Ahmedabad market, I feel it's going to really grow, and soon it will happen that you will be, there'll be a 40 floor building coming up, possible, we don't know. So if that happens, then we have a big lacuna here in terms of, a developer thinking that way, in terms of growing in that way. So I feel that is the first point which I had, and my presentation is all about the basics in terms of what is required. Now, anybody will say there is a window. Now, there are so many windows already installed in Ahmedabad. But if you look at it, as a client requirement is about, I have a 10-story building, and in Ahmedabad, I don't think you go more than 10 or 12-story buildings. So you have a window, and I feel right now what is happening is there's only an elevation drawing given to a contractor, and then you're telling him to do a window. And then there is a cost cut. So what happens is a contractor is basically getting a local section and installing a window. I think I'm loud. That is one point which I want to raise, is that there are some process in terms of designing any building, in terms of if it is a small residential or a high residential. Only thing is the complexity reduces. If you have a 10-story building, it's less complex than a 40-story building. That's the only difference. But when you have system providers already in the market, and you have got fabricators who already want to actually grow, I think the market should allow them to grow. That is one point. The second point is, like, when we as a consultant, what we do is, whenever there's a building, a client has got a plot, he's designed a building, an architect designs a building, and he gives a concept. The first thing is to understand what are the loading requirements. So you call any of the system providers, any of the contractors, they need to give calculations, in terms of what is the actual wind load. You may over-design it or under-design it. You don't know. Because right now, the glass thicknesses, the thermal requirement, like the U value, whether the building requires acoustic, whether there's a metro running or there's an airport next to it. So you have acoustic issues. Because you're selling a plot, you're selling a building actually to a resident. So I think that is all the considerations you need to have before designing the building, first of all. And then there should be a budget, which as a builder you need to come up with. And there are thermal performances, which is like U value, then there's a shading coefficient, then there is all parameters which needs to be addressed. The visible light transmittance. I'm not getting more technical. I'm just running through it, so I just put into the mind of everybody that this is what is required. So now if you look at Bombay, or if you look at all the metro cities, they've come into reflective glass. But for a residential building, I don't think reflective glass is the right choice. Because you're in a residence, you have people working when the sun is actually hitting your floor, your flat. So you have all the heat coming into the flat, and it's not going out. And you won't have an air conditioning in most of the flats. You'll operate it once, maybe 3 months in a year. So it's good for an office building. And plus, if it is a centrally air conditioned building, it's fine. You can have a reflective or a low E or whatever. That's fine.